Hey everybody, welcome to another video review. This is the Blood Rage miniature painted set, professionally done by Top Miniatures and by the painter Mina of Romania. This is the last clan that we're going to be looking at. This is the Serpent Clan, so I guess we'll call that segment 6. The introduction overview of all of the miniatures. I really shouldn't have called that a segment. That was more of an introduction. So this is the Serpent Clan. Their distinction is that every member, with the exception of the Mystics, are female, which is cool because we don't see very many females in the Blood Rage set. There's a couple of so-called monsters that are female, like the Valkyrie or the Volar Witch, which is nice. But of the clans, this is the only all-female clan, which is a nice thing. Again, let's take a look at the clan leader, painted and unpainted. Here she is from behind. The side profile. So as you can see, when they re-glued it, she's slanted a little bit, not horribly so, but enough that you can tell. Let's take a closer look at her, shall we? The base. This one has a lot of detail. The boots, the sort of the fur, a lot of armor, wonderful snake motifs in the armor, because after all, they are the serpents. A pretty simple totem pole versus some of the other clan leaders. Here she is. Now, a lot of the other miniatures, the back is kind of boring because, it's just basically the back of the fur. There's only so much you can do with that. But for her, I kind of like her because, her back is pretty interesting. There's a nice shield. You get to really appreciate very, very nice weathering of the wood and the steel. So great job there. And you have the cloak, the green and the red. The black sword, the black metal. It's a very nice touch. A lot of very, very nice details of the armor. Got some good abs going on there. And then she has a little dagger and a horn. We gave her red hair, which is fine. Nice touch. Very interesting hat or helmet. She sort of reminds me maybe of what the Mongolian, there's a Mongolian touch, to her design. So there you have it. And again, from this angle, of course, it doesn't look too bad. I could try to force her to move more forward, but that, again, involves the blow dryer work, and I don't want to take the chance of damaging the paint. And I think when she's sort of, sitting here, she looks perfectly fine. You only have to look at the side to see that she's leaning back just a little, and it's not something that bothers me very much. So, yeah, very nice example. The clan leader, great paint job as usual by Mina. Let's take a look at some of the warriors. So here she is, a lot more green motif actually. But you can still see the yellow. I really like the shield on this warrior. See the serpents writhing around each other. Beautiful offset. You can see the axe, but it's a little bit sinuous. You can see the leather straps. But overall, again, beautifully done. I like that Mina decided to give her a green armor. And then on the back. I don't know what animal that is. I mean, it's not a serpent, that's for sure. Is it like another wolf? A wolf or a bear? It seems like, you know, what sort of animal is that? I don't know. Yeah, maybe one of you guys can help me out. I don't know what this animal is, what it may look like. Now, the funny thing is there was, believe it or not, a little bit of controversy when Blood Witch was first released about maybe it might be a little bit like, you know, inappropriate because of the breasts that are tastefully covered by the hair. But, you know, these are like miniatures. I mean, the detail in this respect is a little bit crude, and I know I don't see any problem with that. Again, look at how small these miniatures are compared to my finger. I think maybe people are just being a little bit overly sensitive about that particular detail. Still kind of getting over, like, look at the serpent motif everywhere, even at the belt buckle. Beautifully done. So let's put her down, and then let's showcase what she looks like with no paint. I have to say that is a pretty striking difference between the two. Look at that. So again, pretty amazing before and after shots. Here's the second one. I think they're all redheads. We'll see as we check them. Again, great work on the face. So yeah, as you can see, because of the light weight of the plastic and the fact that the paint is so heavily sealed, you know, these pieces are pretty hardy. I mean, I wouldn't throw them against the wall or anything, but you can touch them, you know, you can play with them. I mean, I'm not sure if I would play like 150 Blood Rage games with them, but, you know, board games like that are hard to come by in terms of people having the time to really get together. So, you know, with the number of games I foresee myself playing, I don't think it's going to wear much. I think her hair is a little bit more orangey, not quite as bright red. So again, you know, nice little touch to differentiate. Here's the fourth one coming up. Great consistency of quality, as usual. Every little detail is being brought out. So bear in mind, these are all level 3 paint jobs out of a scale of levels 1 to 4, and the levels sort of denote how much detail, how much time, how much shading, you know, is applied to each piece. And, you know, these warriors are so tiny, I just didn't think it would necessarily be worth it to get to a level 4. I think level 3 is already pretty amazing quality to begin with now. Almost all of my major monsters are level 4s. You'll see why when I review those guys. All right, you ready to see the second warrior type? So she's pretty different. These guys are now blonde, or these girls are now blonde. You can still see it again, a little bit of the breasts. But again, these are such stylized breasts. I just can't imagine anybody feeling that this is like too sexy or too R-rated or whatnot. But there you have it, you know. Nice hair. It's braided. So she has an axe. You can see that she has 2 heads strung along as trophies, which is pretty gruesome. And even the heads are painted so nicely by Mina. Look at that. That's pretty crazy. Okay, let's take a look. Oh, raw miniature. We are looking actually for this one. So here we go. Again, showing you what's possible. If you had the eyes and the painting talent to bring all of this detail out. Yeah, so you can imagine, only imagine how much time it takes to turn this into that. Very, very labor and time intensive. Okay, here's a second version, or rather number 2 of the second version. So pretty neat. Mina not only changed the hair color a little bit, she also changed the hair color of the severed heads, which is a nice touch, I must admit. I especially like the head on the lower part of the axe. It seems to have this expression. Yeah, even the heads at this scale is so remarkably real. See the little white highlights on the fur cloak to give it a little bit more depth and texture. Very nicely done. And again, always blown away by just how much she's able to bring to the face, which you really shouldn't be able to. It should just be a blob, quite frankly. But she's able to, actually try to go after the eyebrows and the eye, the color of the eyes, and even a little bit of lipstick. It's just like a bananas. Alrighty. Third version. Real nice. Again, beautifully done. Here's the last version of her. So again, Mina kind of had quite the challenge, not only trying to figure out different colorations for the main head, but different hair colors for the severed heads too. Good. Okay, let's take a look at the Mystics. Now, interestingly, for the Mystics, even though it's an all-female clan, they decided to make the Mystics a guy. Now, this is one of the most beautifully sculpted shamans. There's so much going on with all the little pouches, and of course, a great added detail of the snake curling from him all the way along the staff. You can see actually, you don't know where the staff ends and the snake begins, but now you can from the back side. But the staff looks, beautifully like a snake. So you can see that the brown wood is essentially carved to look like a snake, but there's a real snake curved the other way. He's got a nice little medallion on his head, old gray beard. He's got a little sheathed knife, and then the horn and pouches. So yeah, the Mystics have some beautiful designs. So here he is walking along. I don't know, I feel like maybe they should have been consistent and made this particular shaman, a female as well. Compare the other one. She did a nice little change. I love the contrast. Instead of a yellow snake, you got yourselves a red one. Great work on the face here. Look at that. Again, you can see the pouch, the dagger, the horn. He's in green and red. A very impressive shaman for sure. And of course, we can compare the two. And you can pretty clearly again see contrast between this one and of course the unpainted and the other one. Those are our two Mystics side by side. Very nice. All right, let's get our core Serpent Clan set up. Here's our clan leader. Now warrior type 1, warrior type 2, and the shaman. Very nice collection of designs. This is the Serpent Clan. And last but not least, let's take a look at some of the glory token right here. Again, very nice texture into the skull and the ship. Right on over here, yellow. And then our player tokens are, of course, serpents. They did a very nice job sculpting the serpent. You know, little red eyes. So yeah, makes sense. Easily recognizable. So this is the last clan. Last but certainly not least. Some very interesting designs. So that's it. And I think after the clans, my next segment, which will be segment 7, we'll be taking a look at the gods of Asgard, which should be pretty interesting. There are 7 of them, including the special Kickstarter exclusive Healy. Hope you enjoyed that, and we've run through all of the clans, all 6 of them, each of them having essentially 10 total miniatures. So all of this is beautifully done by Top Miniatures and Mina specifically. So now let's move on to some of the monsters and gods and the big miniatures, monsters so-called. Until next time, hope you enjoyed that and take care.